Welcome to the presentation. I'm Chip Cooper, e-commerce attorney. Now, I'm often asked the question, is it okay? Is it legal to paraphrase a testimonial and then use it in advertising and marketing? Well, the short answer anyway, is yes, it is, provided you're complying with two fairly straightforward guidelines. Assuming you're doing that, then it's legal to paraphrase testimonials. Now, we'll also present and talk about something else that is at least as important as the legal solution, and that is how your legal authority to paraphrase testimonials can really be a big factor in improving your marketing. And I'm going to present two actual examples of paraphrase testimonials, which I believe are killers that you might consider for modeling. So let's jump into the presentation and take care of the legal side first. So the two guidelines that you must follow for the authority to paraphrase testimonials are here. Number one, the overall message cannot be changed, or the context either. Don't change the overall message or context of the testimonial. Number two, the resulting message, which is the paraphrased testimonial, has to remain truthful and non-deceptive. Now, these are your tickets to being able to paraphrase testimonials and use them however you want to, obviously in marketing or advertising. So my strong recommendation is that you don't play fast and loose with these two requirements. My recommendation is you follow them very, very strictly in order to believe that you have covered these bases in terms of your legal authority to paraphrase testimonials. All right, now let's proceed into the marketing side of this presentation. And you'll see on the screen that I have created a term for paraphrased testimonials. This is my term, curated testimonials. The FTC doesn't use it. I've not seen anyone else who uses it either, but it's my term, and I think it very adequately and accurately describes how I understand, or at least in my view, paraphrase testimonials. So what's important about your authority to actually engage in paraphrasing testimonials? And that is, it opens the door to storytelling in your marketing. Now, there is a difference between simply telling a story. Anybody can tell a story. Anybody can tell a joke, actually, but stand-up comedians who are professionals know how to do it in a way that brings the house down with the phrasing and the timing and all of the art that goes into presenting a joke successfully. So in terms of storytelling, it's not just telling a story, it's engaging in the art form of storytelling, which requires some skills, sort of like stand-up comics have in terms of telling a joke that actually works. It requires flair and color, creative language. You need to paint a picture, but more important, I guess, than these two features is that you can create emotion, which is absolutely critical for marketing messaging. And the emotions can be very positive, good results, positive results, love, joy, all that sort of thing, or negative. It can focus on pain points, that sort of thing. The emotions that are generally involved in most marketing messaging. So I'm going to present now the first of two actual examples that I follow, I've reviewed very carefully, and that I strongly believe are excellent killer examples of the use in marketing of curated testimonials. Now, the first one is an email by a marketer and advertiser. I'm on her list. She is basically targeting accountants who are billing by the hour and not doing very well. Her message is to niche down. You've heard the story. There's riches in the niches, and not niches. It just doesn't rhyme correctly. Riches in the niches. And she talks about niching down and value billing. And that's her message. Her target for the message, of course, is accountants. And I'm on her email list and get a lot of her marketing emails. And I believe, in my opinion, she is really extraordinarily good at what she does in terms of marketing. So if you look at this outline of a very recent marketing email, and the names have been changed, these are the 5 elements that I saw. First of all, a title to the story. If you go to the 3rd bullet there, I think that is where her process started in creating this marketing message for the email. I think it started with a quoted testimonial, and then she built the pitch in the email this way in terms of these 5 elements. Number 1, the story, the journey of the testimonialist has to have a title, and that title has to have a hook. You know all about that. Then she begins in order with the curated part of this presentation, and she paints a really compelling story of the journey. She then subsequently quotes testimonial from the information from the testimonialist. She follows in sequence with a video interview that ties together the title, the curated journey, that sort of thing. And then she finishes, of course, with a call to action. My view, my opinion is this is extremely effective, particularly regarding how to use curated testimonials very effectively in marketing. Now we go to exactly what this thing looks like, what the email looks like. And I'm not going to cover all the text. You can simply stop the video and do a screen picture with your mobile device. But here's how it begins with the titled Kathy's Journey, Creating the Income She Needs Working Only 2 to 3 days a week when she'd been working 6 or 7. So this is the beginning of the curated part, the beginning of the story. 2 years ago, Kathy was working full time and charged less than $500 a month for her accounting services. Money was tight. Oh, and she just had back-to-back babies. Enough of that. Then the email continues with this part of the story. Her investment paid off. The investment in what the advertiser is selling in the first 4 months. You can take a screenshot of that to get the feel of the text. Then next in sequence is the quoted part of the testimonial that's consistent, of course, with the curated part as required. And then it's followed up by a video of an interview with the advertiser and the testimonialist. And then finally, we have a call to action, very important. Now we move to example number 2. And I don't present any material because this is in the form of a web page, an entire web page, and we're dealing in the weight loss space. The advertiser is Nutrisystem, and you should either jot down or take a screenshot of part of the URL there, nutrisystem.com/success-stories. Once you get to the web page there, look for the story of John and Sheila. It's a full web page. It is a masterpiece, in my humble opinion, of a curated testimonial. Now, in their approach, Nutrisystem's approach, they don't do things sequentially. They weave everything into the story and include snippets of the actual quotes from testimonials along the way, but they do it in an extremely effective way, in my opinion. And I recommend you give some consideration to modeling what I view is a very successful killer approach to curated testimonials. So this concludes the presentation. But before I go, I want to encourage you to visit my LinkedIn page. I'm Chip Cooper. Search for me, Chip Cooper, on LinkedIn. And at the very top there, where my profile is, just just below the actual description of what I do is a link where you can download my earnings claims guide, which will provide a lot of information, hopefully very helpful information about how to solve what I believe may be your problem with earnings claims compliance, how to go about thinking about at least how to solve that problem. So we've reached the final conclusion here of this presentation. Again, that's all for now.